Okay guys, rumor time, and I don't like to usually talk about rumors or turn the rumor mill, but enough of you have been asking me about what's happening with the new graphics cards, where's the new NVIDIA cards, that I thought I would put a speculatory piece video right here, talking about my thoughts on where the new graphics cards are, why we haven't seen them yet, and what to expect once they finally do launch. With its adjustable PMW 3367 16,000 dpi optical sensor, 4 RGB zones, 9 customizable buttons, and offering both wired and wireless operation are only a few reasons why the Corsair Dark Core RGB should be on your shortlist for your next mouse purchase. Check out its full list of features by clicking the link in the description below. Now the reason why I'm even talking about this is because GDC and GTC have both concluded and some time has passed since then, and we have not seen anything new from Camp NVIDIA. And there's always speculation as to why that could be. I mean, in the last couple of years, NVIDIA has been really big on holding their own press conferences rather than kind of doing a keynote at an event like CES or Computex or GDC or GTC. The last couple of times they've had their own special events right around the time frame of big events. I think Pascal launched right around the time of DreamHack in Austin, Texas. And so it was one of those things where, okay, GTC is over, are we gonna see something? And no. Nothing. In fact, all we've heard is that they've squashed the GPP program because they were basically saying a lot of people were spreading a lot of false information about it, even though the behind the scenes anonymous tipsters were telling us NVIDIA is lying. That's besides the point. GPP is over, so we don't have to worry about that. And obviously that's because a lot of you guys were outraged at the idea of NVIDIA even trying to get involved into the naming scheme of third-party manufacturers and their business. And I applaud everyone who kind of fought on that, because it's really none of NVIDIA's business on how ASUS or MSI or EVGA or whoever runs their business and how they want to name their cards. That's my personal opinion on that. You may disagree, and that's perfectly okay. But because we haven't seen anything new come out, it has a lot of people just kind of wondering what the heck is going on. Now it's important to kind of preface this with, I have no insider information. I have had no meetings with NVIDIA, I've had no conversations with anybody, and so everything I'm about to say from this point forward is completely speculatory, and it's not from any insider information whatsoever. Now let's kind of talk about the price history of Pascal real quick, because Pascal has just passed 2 years old. May 5th, 2016 is when Pascal launched, again, alongside DreamHack in Austin, Texas, like I mentioned. We have now just passed we've passed May 5th now, which is putting it at 2 years old. And because we haven't seen anything now from GTC, I don't think we'll see anything around Computex. I have not seen any real emails or anything hinting that something big is coming. NVIDIA, when they launch new families of GPUs, like to kind of make it a big deal, kind of like the order of 10 they did when the 10 series launched with the scavenger hunt and all the clues. So we haven't seen anything like that, which makes me believe that the new series is not right around the corner. Now, the cheapest graphics card I can find right now from the 1080 Ti series is $754.98, currently in stock at Newegg. So if you guys are shopping and you guys have seen this video, hopefully they're still in stock, but that's only about $50 above MSRP from where it first launched. It launched, I believe, at about $700, so that's really not bad at all. It's showing a $20 rebate, making it $754, so it's actually $769. But if we look at the 1 year history, we can see it was actually $1,449 at its highest. So although I have said prices are not 100% back to normal, they have definitely been improving. But there are people still selling that exact card right now for $1,000. So the market is still extremely volatile in where pricing is. So if you put your ear to the ground, you can usually find a good deal like that. But if you look at the price history chart on PC Part Picker, you guys, and I'll put a link to this one I'm referencing now so that you guys can actually see it yourself and take a look at where it changes. By the time this video goes up, it might change. It has had a downward trend pretty significantly when we look at Newegg pricing. So that's good news. And that's because I think a lot of the ASIC miners, or the idea of ASIC mining, especially for Ethereum, which directly uses GPUs, has put a lot of people in a holding pattern. I think the miners are kind of holding on going, wait a minute, if these ASIC miners are gonna be coming out and I can get one for roughly the price of one of these inflated graphics cards and it's just that much better hash rate, then that's a better return on your investment. So I think they're waiting and not buying anything new, which is why we're seeing graphics card prices start to come down. But as gamers, we're on the cusp of something new coming, so the gamer doesn't want to buy a graphics card for $700 and have something come out that's better for the same price. So everyone's kind of in this holding pattern right now, which is allowing the market to sort of catch up. But I don't think any of that has to do with why we haven't seen the new graphics card family launch yet. I have two main theories as to why that is. The first one, we're gonna go ahead and go with something tangible. I'm gonna say the manufacturing process is being held up by the RAM shortages that right now is being investigated, or at least RAM manufacturers are being investigated for price fixing, which has reduced the ability for manufacturers to ramp up production, to be able to keep up with the demand, which has artificially inflated the price of memory if that is where the holdup is. So price fixing, if these manufacturers have gotten in cahoots and decided to agree to keep manufacturing low so that they can keep prices high, well, that's price fixing, and they're currently being investigated for that. Sidebar though, they have been found guilty of that in the past, so it's quite possible that that's exactly what we're dealing with today. Now, the other speculation is just straight up market share. NVIDIA is holding approximately 70% of the market right now, the GPU market, which means close to 3 out of every 4 gamers has an NVIDIA graphics card. So what that means is there's just not a lot of incentive for them to innovate and spend a lot of money and drop something now when they don't have to, when they're already dominating the market. And AMD has not launched anything new in the last year when it comes to the mainstream gamer, like the RX 570 and 580 is all you've got. The Vega 56 and Vega 64 were pretty much launched out of the attainable price point of most gamers, and the 570 and 580 have just been kind of falling behind in terms of where they stack up versus the current NVIDIA offering. If NVIDIA had considered to do annual launches like they had been though, they would be even farther behind. That's probably the reason why NVIDIA doesn't have more than around 70% of the market share right now. But it's just simple supply and demand, and it's the same type of thing we saw with Intel, where if you are dominating the market and your only competitor, right, Intel only has AMD to compete with, and NVIDIA pretty much only has AMD to compete with, why spend so much money on bringing new products to market when you already control the market? You can keep that money in your bank account, keep your investors happy at the expense of people's murmuring and grumbling about not seeing a new graphics card, because they already control the market. So all that mumbling and grumbling isn't affecting their bottom line. But obviously that changed when it came to the CPU market, because Intel kind of banked on Ryzen not being that widely adopted, or being maybe a little bit of a failure in terms of where people were expecting it to be, kind of like what happened with the FX series. But Ryzen came out, made a huge splash, and from day one started to gain market share back from Intel. So Intel obviously did a pretty bold move by pulling in 2 platforms into 2017 that weren't even scheduled to come out until 2018, obviously showing that there could be competition once again in that space. So we need competition to happen in the NVIDIA space, otherwise why would they, or the graphics card space, otherwise why would NVIDIA care to spend money on bringing new graphics cards to market? Now I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you, the gamer right now, who's sitting on the edge of his chair waiting for something new because you've got XYZ money to spend and you wanna get the most for your money. If you are gonna sit and wait for the next family of GPUs to come, you probably aren't gonna see anything until closer to Christmas time this year. That's my best guess on when we can expect to see, based on previous families of GPUs. This is currently the longest family of GPU that we've seen yet from NVIDIA. Yes, Fermi was also a 2-year family, but that was spread over 2 different generations, the 400 series and the 500 series, where Pascal has now been the 10 series alive for over 2 years. And by the time we see it refreshed with the 1180 or 2080 or whatever they're calling it, we'll probably see Pascal reach 2.5 years before something new actually comes out. In fact, rumor has it too that we're not gonna see the new mobile chips until the beginning of next year, which is kind of what I'm basing some of my speculation on, because mobile usually launches a couple of months after desktop. But the best advice I could give to someone who's sitting around waiting, trying to decide whether or not they are going to buy a new graphics card now with the somewhat improved market in terms of pricing, is you probably should. Because I think when the new family of graphics cards launch, if we haven't seen Ethereum miners or ASIC miners become available yet, yes, they've been built, yes, they've been pre-ordered, they have not started shipping yet. I think when the new graphics card family comes out and we see its improved performance, I think miners are going to gobble those up again. So you might wait, and then unfortunately the market disrupts again, and then you might not be able to buy anything past gen or current gen. So I also look at it this way: if you're gonna be always afraid of the next thing coming out and you don't wanna buy, then you're always gonna be waiting. because we are in a leapfrog, guys. CPUs and GPUs are usually staggered on when the new stuff comes out, so you could be waiting indefinitely, and you'll always be afraid of being outpaced on what you can get for your money. But the way I look at it personally is if what you can buy today meets and exceeds your needs and you're happy with it, then the only thing you're really missing out on at the end of the day is maybe a tiny bit more performance, usually about 20 to 25% on the NVIDIA. Yeah, that's not a tiny bit, but if it's already exceeding the performance you want out of it, then you can be happy and enjoy your stuff now rather than being afraid and worried all the time. And the only thing you're really missing out on is a little bit of bragging rights. But if you're wondering where I came up with that 20 to 25% improvement that we can expect with the new graphics card, is that's pretty much been consistent with NVIDIA. In fact, I did a video a little while back where I tested the 580 all the way up to, I believe, the 980 Ti, every 80 series card, and saw an extremely consistent 20 to 25% improvement, or anywhere in between, generation to generation. So I don't see NVIDIA showing us too much advancement in GPU technology. I think they're gonna keep it right around the 20, 25% artificially, which obviously is a pretty good chunk. But like I said, if you are not, if what you can buy today is meeting or exceeding your needs, then buy today. Or you're always gonna be afraid of the next thing coming out, and you're not gonna be obsolete from one generation to the next. So I mean, that'd be my best piece of advice. There is a rumor though that the new generation NVIDIA cards could possibly be featuring Samsung GDDR6, which is going to be either 16 or 18 gigabit per second, depending on the card or which chips they go with, which would be a significant improvement in memory speeds, which has kind of been where Pascal has really shined when it comes to memory speeds. So we might see something new and innovative. I don't think we're gonna see HBM though. I don't think that's gonna be affordable for the mainstream for a while. I still think we're gonna see a conventional layout GPU surrounded by memory, but I think we're gonna see faster memory and possibly even faster GPU core speeds. Who knows? I mean, Pascal can hit 2000 with no problem, where just a couple of years ago, 2000 was only achieved by people doing LN2 overclocking. But guys, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching today's video. This was a direct response to all of the people sending me messages and asking me questions about when I think the new graphics cards are gonna launch. Do I think they're gonna be good? Should you wait? Should you buy now? Because prices are starting to improve. So I just wanted to kind of make a central video that you guys can come and reference, and to get my thoughts all in one place rather than trying to dig through Twitter and all that. Although Twitter's a pretty good place to follow for some of this information. Speaking of graphics cards though, I'm gonna be giving away a whole PC, and you guys can find the details to that by watching the video in the link in the description, and you guys can obviously, that's free, so who doesn't like free stuff? All right guys, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.